believed that
I'm just so done with this. These social media platforms that I've used all these years, they always do the same thing. Every single one, whether it's Twitter or not Twitter, but Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube that I've invested a lot of time in, and it just boggles my mind how geared they are to just hone in on me, or like I'm convinced that it's me. I've like so much of this stuff in life because no one's really. I don't see anyone in real life doing the kind, experiencing the dynamics that I am, and so it's just like it's the same thing going on in the internet that they're just honed in on me, and I always end up being like it's a symptom or the sign of our age that basically the worst thing, it's hard not to think of Socrates or whatever, because it's like the worst thing is kind of that middle place, which is exactly where I am, and I'm getting chewed up because I'm like sort of defending the truth from either side. And it's just like, yeah, you just have a vast secular sea and this burgeoning new church or whatever, uh, for for lack of any better description on the other side. And I just see all this sort of mistruth, and so I'm just walking the narrow path. To me is the middle way, in a sense, because I'm not, it's like I'm thinking for myself with God's light, and I don't see anyone else. I don't see anyone else doing that, and it's really like disturbing that you just have like a, apparently like countless masses, or like maybe it's like an illusion for me too, that like I'm not really seeing it, but I'm just seeing like countless infinite masses going this way and that way, and it's like either you're going this way or you're going that way, and there's no in between, which is where I am, and I'm just getting chewed to bits. And then it's like as if I want to be the guy that stands up in the stream, which I don't at all. But like by virtue of the fact that like I just stand my ground on these things that to me seem like base, it's almost like, I'm not really going to budge on these things because I'm firm about these things and I don't question them, and I know that these are the basic building blocks of kind of like a decent life or whatever. So it's like I never even thought that I would shake my ground on those, but then it's like I'm called constantly to defend things from that basic platform, and then like those are kind of like the 10 Commandments that define 1,000 or like an almost infinite multitude of basic other principles, and that is completely eroded or inexistent, sort of. So then I'm constantly like having to like educate 1,000 principles that if the light of illumination is shined in a person's life, they get all those other rules, even if they're not abiding them, or principles and laws, even if they're not abiding them, the seeds are planted, they've been exposed and introduced to those ideas. So it's like, you know, it's just like the teacher, the prophet role. It's just like it's constantly, the one day it's kind of like you're esteemed, and the next day you're reviled, and you just, there's no like normal life. And yet it's just like I'm not ultimately like in despair because I don't really feel like lonely because God is in my life. Like that's what people don't seem to get. It's just like, but the thing is, it's like you don't get what it's like to be like Noah. Like it's really freaky and creepy that like I'm sitting here kind of like getting mocked constantly and I'm like the only person building this ark. And it's like I would never think of that because I don't feel like I have um, this unction to do something. Like I'm not trying to be like that's the weird thing for me. It's that where I'm very different. Like I'm trying to do the total opposite. Like I'm trying to kind of live almost like a secular dream, painter poet or whatever. Like, so it's kind of like I feel like, can you just let me do that? Can you just let me live? It's not like I'm harm or threat, but in fact, it positions me to be as if to stand out somehow, as if I was trying to like build this arc, and the net result is that I am as ostracized or whatever as Noah, and there's just no one. Like what you think is that you kind of have various pockets and communities of support and all this sort of like very kind of like degreed and nuanced sort of like community, and that is not it at all. It's just like it's the total opposite. You have it just is like two tidal waves of communities that the tidal waves have swallowed up all the like there is no one that stands up anymore to that great tidal wave, and there is no one that stands up anymore to that great tsunami. You're either going with that tidal wave or that tsunami, and there is just no one in between anymore. It's so creepy, and so it's like talk about tidal wave and tsunami, and like I am like the guy building the ark, and it's just like there is no one. There's just me and mine, and that's it. So I am like it's beyond lonely. It's just like uh, what's the word? It's like you can't imagine what it's like, how like disturbing it is. It's like you'd almost it's almost like some sort of perverse excitement, and like yeah, maybe it's the demon talking to me that I'm like, Noah or whatever, like I'm so, believe me, I have no, like that was never, I've said many times, like I've never really desired to be the prophet, kind of, where people are so often trying to get this sort of prophetic mantle or whatever. And I think that that's why, like, it's almost like by the skin of my teeth, I am forced to be a prophet, you know? Glory to God, if I may say. But anyway, so like what you have here is like basically you have a prophet, you know, a mastermind on the internet. And it's like I'm in a way, I'm, maybe I am doing it for my own selfish reasons, but I feel like I'm more like playing this game to survive in the context of the modern milieu, in spite of the fact that like what I'm trying to sell is not sexy or popular. And so I'm kind of trying to play your game, but I can't really ever do it that well. And it's like the fact that I'm kind of trying to do it well, and I'm kind of doing all this cool stuff, but it's never, why? Because I don't really have the budget, and my heart is not really, really there. But in some ways I'm good at it, in some ways I'm better at it, but I'm never really good at it. It's just always something. It's just like that one hair out of place, that just drives you crazy, is exactly what I am to the system. And like again, like Socrates, I'm a gadfly, but like Socrates willfully accepted that role, which I don't. I don't want to be the one that's spurning any kind of. I don't want to garner any attention at all. So anyway, no matter what I do, that is exactly the thing I'm doing. And so when I use these social media programs, I always have to do like a body of uploads, and they really don't like that. They want kind of like the guy that has like the high end family photo or a video or YouTube uh, upload or whatever, that's kind of got that polished quality, and it's kind of like a regular upload. And where I'm kind of doing these low um, like low resolution a lot of times, or like just these like kind of sketchy little things, but what I'm doing is I'm doing it in batches. But like for me, it takes like because it's become such a part of my life, it's normal. But like what happens is I'm constantly doing these batches, so it's like then I have to upload all this stuff, then I have to quickly um, sort of check it, edit it. Like basically what happens is that I have to like quickly um, like after initially uploading it or publishing it, then I have to um, like store it or whatever. Like I have to, and then like like it's like this great attack, this mastermind attack, but it's not like that. It's like I don't have what you're looking for, but I'm trying to give my version of that. But like by virtue of me doing that, it's kind of like I'm trying to give my heart and soul to the system, but you won't let me do it. Like you see me as Satan, you see me as the evil one, but I'm like, no, like I am the one true good person. Just let me do what I need to do. And it's just like, it's like that, like I'm coming face to face with the fact that I'm the one doing what's actually good, decent, and it's like good content. And then I'm finding that it's like that is the one thing that you can't do, like that. And then it's like I'm coming face to face with this. It's like at at the end of the the day, it's just like they're always shutting me down. And it's like, why? Because then all of a sudden I realize that I'm a competitor, and then I'm like, no, it's not even that. It's beyond that. It is the fact. It is the sheer fact that you are a shining beacon of light that has to be suppressed, because it's so they they even think it's like a righteous moral unction to like without knowing, at that point, knowingly or not, they are shutting me down because they just see somebody standing up. It's like, they're going to prevent me from standing up in the current because, to spare me almost at that point. Like they're just so blinded. Like, they're going to like, you really don't want to even do that. Trust me. It's like their highest philosophy at that point is like to prevent me, just to spare me. Like at that point, like believe me, you don't want, like they don't know why, they don't know what I'm really trying to do. It's almost like it's not even like they're trying to compete business on a business platform anymore. It's like that point I kind of realized that it's like I came full circle to the point where I thought, okay, they're trying to shut me down because they think I'm an enemy. Then I'm like, no, it's because I have something good, and I actually am a threat. And then it's like, no, it's not even that. It's just that the very core nature of the ungodly is like they have to shut this down because it does not it's not right to them because they are not right. You know, it's just, and so that's where it's like really creepy because it's like, no, actually I am the only one that is right. So it really gets my brain going because there is like this whole thing that's just like it's not funny. Like it's really creepy because it's like I am the only one that's right. Like there's no there's no like everyone else is too wise. They're like going that way or that way. And it's almost become like this sort of weird pariah or whatever. Like it's like I am like Socrates. Kind of like that's the thing. That I think that's the point where it's like it's that's I think I think the Lord's protected me, thankfully, for Socrates. No one's gonna help me now. Kierkegaard, um, Dostoevsky, who are my patron poet saints. They're they're not gonna help me anymore. It's like Socrates is the last man standing. That's gonna vouch for me. Meanwhile, it's like the society itself wants to provoke me. Um, it's like, aren't you a Christ follower? They want. That's what they want, right? They want me to say. They're like, aren't you a Christ follower? And so like, like you're supposed to be the example. So it's like, aren't you the Christ follower? And they want me to say yes. And or kind of like, well, aren't you supposed to be the example? Is kind of the one that's like the end game for them too. And if like whether whether or not they realize it or not, is they kind of like, aren't you supposed to be an example then? And so therefore, if you're supposed to be an example, actually, let's take a look at your life. You have mess, you have disorder, you also have issues with lust. I think you're a pervert. You might be abusive. You might be a child predator. You might be a public threat, or like you might be a religious zealot or whatever. Like, and then there's those like three things that I said. They constantly treat me as. Anyway, so what happens is, like, I don't wanna downplay right now the fact that like I kind of like there is this sort of narcotic. I think that I feel this kind of like I'm saying, it's like the slot machine kind of thing, like that I'm stuck with this kind of like the narcotic intoxication of this thing that I do. But it's kind of like I don't want to do that. It's just that society kind of like that's the whole thing. Like society just kind of like they won't let you do what you want to do. They won't let you try to play a game either, or like this or that maybe or whatever. But then it's like if you just go to the slots and you just you're just like a gambler, it's like, okay, he's safe, he's just one of us sinners. And then you sit there all day, and then when you win the jackpot but for me, if not winning the jackpot, it's like I just get to go home because I've spent all my time. Then like they won't let you come away with your winnings, which is basically not my winnings for me. Like that's the way they're acting, is like I'm a big, I'm a multi media corporation or something or like a robot or whatever that's trying to like manipulate. I'm trying to like manipulate their platform and get like big gain. And it's like I'm only just trying to get what I came for, which is like notoriety or whatever. Like kind of like it's like I walk away like a meager, you know, cur, just like, yes, you should kick me because really I did all this just to save my own face, my own skin, my reputation. So yes, I'm just a despicable piece of crap because I'm not trusting in my own God. I'm like playing your games. It's like you always do succeed in bringing God's judgment on me. That's the weird thing in this. Like like God uses you to speak to me in the end. But it's like you think you're doing it, but you're not doing it the way that God's doing it. But God is ultimately in charge using you to do it anyway, which is like it just gets so, and then it's not weird. It's just like, here I am. God is like, I'll show you. Like, I'll take away all your friends. I won't make you lonely, but I'll take away all your friends. I'll take away every string because you're just drifting a little too far and you're like wanting to get into this world and succeed in this world, or you're just going in there like you're crawling in there like some, like you shouldn't even be playing with these people. You forgot that I'm your God after I've patiently instructed you and supported you and defended you and delivered you and established you for all these years, and now you're going in there just groveling like some little, like just for like a little bit of morsels, which is, and so then they're like, they hate me, and it's kind of like the Lord is not happy with me either, I think. Isn't that what the kind of the conclusion is that I'm coming to? So what happens is that, like, I'm constrained to always get this body of work done. Like, to me, it's like this age-old thing of like the old school way of doing things. It's like writing a book. Like, that's what you don't get. It's like why I'm not just writing the book already. It's like, yes, okay, I get it. And it's like, man, like I'm I'm dealing, like, I'm expecting that these major what do you call it, things are like honorable, and they're not. It's just like this is the thing, okay? It's like you have this platform like YouTube that offers such a good thing in a way. Like, I guess because I've always kind of liked YouTube in the way that it just like seemed like, compared to Facebook, like Facebook always rubbed me the wrong way from day one, and YouTube always rubbed me the right way from day one. So I'm kind of like bamboozled. I'm fooled into thinking that it's this good thing, like, in a way, even though I have like issues, but like, you know, it's like there's maybe smaller concern, but like what I see is like they have something, they have such a good product, but then at the very end they sabotage me in the worst way, and that is the exact, they fall right into the same pattern as all these other platforms. That right when I got my ass on the line, whenever I get my ass on the line out there, like I kind of, like, it's like I need to make that initial statement. Otherwise, it's all blown, and I don't expect that until I got my ass out there, and then they restrict me, or they close the door on something, and it's like they always, it's like I got everything out there, and then they got the one little thing that I can't do, and it's like what is your thinking, or the algorithm? It's just like that. It's only that one thing you're gonna keep to preserve protection for yourself. That is the one thing that literally, that is gonna be helicopters and sirens like today if I don't get that done. There's gonna be helicopters and sirens like going nutty all day around me if I don't get that done. It's like you think you're keeping 1 day's wage for me and it's not like 1 day's wage. It's like you have my job on the line because this is not even a job. This is the job that I'm doing because I don't have a job. So I'm gambling addictively on the fact that this is going to either get me something or preserve me from being like a public pariah. So it's like they have this, like, the one thing that they won't let me do. Like, it's like I upload 99 things and they're all good, and the hundredth one they hold it back. And then it's like, do you not see, like, now that I have just, like, it's like, instead of like one good thing, putting out one nice high resolution thing each day or every few days, good, instead of, like, I put out 100 mediocre things that contains it within it the, my book. That's my latest book that I put out there, and then I have this one glaring thing. Like, it's like I put out 99 pictures that are all of the same, and you think by restricting me of that one, that it's just a small caveat for, like, it's just a small thing that you ask to defend your sort of platform or whatever. Like, in a way, kind of like, just in case I'm a robot, you reserve the right to just like do a little twitch or glitch on that one thing. It's not that one thing. It's like I'm delivering a package, a body of 100 things simultaneously to the airwaves. And it's like there is 99 blue things, and now there's one pink one. It's just like, you think that's a small thing, right? And you're doing that because then, like, you don't want me to make all this money, right? That's kind of, but now I've said, like, I've taken it 2 and 3 levels deeper than that. It's beyond that. It's beyond what they even realize. It is that they are in the dark and I am bringing light. And it's just like, then it's the total clash. And it's like, now that I've got my ass out there, you think, like, you just have an algorithm that's saying, I'm gonna put one little pink square out there, just one. So what's actually happening is that I have 99 blue squares that I'm delivering, which are 99 good, nice, friendly, more or less me saying, it's like, I'm just Kierkegaard, or I'm just, like, a defender of what's good, but not, it's like, I'm not too good, right? So you don't have to be worried about that. I'm just like a hero, a good person, an upright man, like, I'm your kind of person. so I have so because it's an algorithm or whatever fixated on this thing, it's not like, it's seeing it as like, we'll hold back one of 99 just to cover our assets or whatever, just to, like, to keep us safe. But it's not. It's that you confound, not only that, like, you confound the final publication. It's just like, again, it's like, I'm publishing my book in my mind. Like, that's how much energy is going into this. I'm publishing my book, but you've basically, this actually just seems like something prescient from just now. This, like, you've taken a Jiffy marker and you've just scored the surface of the cover. That's it. Like, you didn't damage the whole book or anything. No, like, it's not like, it's not, the algorithm is just coming in there with a Jiffy marker, or maybe a red Jiffy marker, and just putting an X on it. That's all, right? Like it's not like they're really doing anything that like is a big deal because it's just a computer or it's just like it's just like a big black scoring it with a jiffy marker. My book. That's all. Like right on the cover, just like a big black diagonal. That's all. Like it's just a superficial little mark that their computer. So do you see like it's like, oh yes, I shouldn't make a book. I shouldn't write a book. I should be preaching, right? Or it's like I'm supposed to be humbly serving God with like no income, right? Like if I'm saying I'm a man of God, right? Like I should be like like I should be serving the community like a noble, like whatever, right? Like so each of these platforms, it's like that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like for 30 years you've been saying, "Oh, he's the guy with the book." Or whatever. He's the guy with the art, right? Or he's the guy with the book. But it's just like you never have let me do it, and it's like 30 years have gone by. My I don't even want to say what's happened, like physically and health. Like I'm a guy that had like the blessing of great health, and like what 30 years of poverty without me being able to see. Like the thing is, like I've been doing the right thing all along, and for 30 years I've let you sabotage me. But like this is the way it's manifest in the current age. It's in this kind of like vitriolic attack on me, like that you just aren't aware that like now is my day, and then all of a sudden I realize it's like now, and it's like I'm not even really trying to do that here. I'm not trying, like my day is elsewhere in my world of doing things in the old school like arts or whatever, like doing things that way. Like I'm not really trying to do that here, but this is kind of like a way of me doing that. Like it's like a way of doing that in a different sense. Me exploring this way of doing it, and I get really involved in it because it amounts to kind of the same thing in a way. Like it's like writing my book in a way. Like I'm so invested in it. It's not really any different. Like it's not the way that I want to do it really, but it is. It's like believe me, there's nothing bad. It's just like it's like a book, right? Okay? So in every case what you have is like it's not quite that much, but in a way it is, because it's like not only am I investing so much time on a weekly rate, but like I am investing all these years of knowledge, and it's just like in that second that they confound my process when I'm kind of out there in online, so to speak, they basically just dump my whole cargo of shit into the internet, and the AI just subtly just proliferates my whole genius over the internet without even realizing. It's just like I come in there and like like you're just like a pirate ship on my like fucking cargo vessel of virtue, and you just spill it into the ocean of the internet. It's just like that's kind of how it feels. It's just like I'm not really doing that much or that little. but it's like, how would you define a book? Like in the old days, like a book basically was a big thing that could like really like make or break your career, like in your life. It's kind of like, like an epic movie, an epic book, an epic painting or film or whatever. Like it has the ability to change the world, but like you're not even like, you're sabotaging, like it's almost like this perverted ecumenical thing where you think it's better to just spread it out for the world anyways, rather than anybody get the gain for it. And truly, you are one of us, and you're better off to know it, and you're better off. Let's just relieve you of your cargo. You know, it's like, yeah, you're kind of right, I guess. No, like you are, like you don't realize that I am like a genius, okay? And you are sabotaging me. So it's like, then I'm like, okay, well, God's got it. God's got it, just like they're only gonna get away with it so long. Okay, but like I get caught up in it, man. I get caught up in it because it's like, for me, it's like my book. So what happens is, because it's not my actual book, it's like a chapter. Okay? It's like it's it's another chapter in my book that I, every time I'm done that chapter, and then I like publish it online. It's kind of like publishing a book online. And so you're not like, for some reason they just don't get it, and I don't get it, that you're gonna do it again. So every time I go through, and I always deliver a body of work. Like I said, it's just like the old school day, right? Like where you had to like maybe get your thing in for the newspaper or whatever, I guess. Like how people wrote books back in those days sometimes, like, and the public wanted to feed that. Like it must have been exactly the same, right? The public wanted to read that, read or feed, the same thing basically. Feed off of. And like you just see how much people kind of like are waiting for that. It's like, I'm the same way, because I'm watching these publishers produce online content, and I'm waiting for that one. Like we really do crave that. But it's like, you're not letting me do that, but I'm the big wig. I'm the biggest of them all, but I'm too big. I'm off the charts, and that's where it goes wrong. It's like, you, like, basically, you sabotage it every time I've got that body that I'm delivering. It's just like, it doesn't matter if it's like Facebook, Instagram, but like, I mean, I found kind of ways after being bit by this, like, I found ways to kind of, be real careful, like, with it. And to kind of respect the system as much as I can, because it's like, you learn the hard way, right? Like it, so it's kind of like, but nonetheless, in all these platforms, it's like I'm saying, it's that exact same thing. Like, why did I not learn it yet? Like that's exact, like I kind of know, but I'm so stubborn, I guess, too, and that's kind of like this life story. It's like, finally learn. It's just like, it just is not like, when are you gonna learn? It doesn't work, But then it's like, I guess for some reason I'm just so stubborn or whatever, that I have to try, or that I forget, or that like it takes. I think, like I'm a kind of guy that I'm really naive slash stubborn. It takes me like 10 times, 20 times to learn something, whereas other people see it right away before, but then they're like not even doing like the kind of thing that I'm doing. That's why it's like, the system kind of seems to favor me in some ways, like, because I offer, like, what the one thing is that I can kind of offer an endless stream of just shit to, like, I can just kind of like, I'm good at just like where, like some people, I think, like, I'm the big and the small. Like where some people, it's like maybe they're not posting quite that much because they're a little bit more thoughtful, like, and they have like, life and stuff. So I can just kind of post in, like, I had to really try to curb that habit because I can just post stupid shit all the time. And what I do is just I fill that down space. So I kind of favor the systems that I can kind of really do, like I can just like an endless conductor of shit. Like it's so easy for me to do that. It's just like I have a boatload of stuff that I can just basically say anything. Like I can just upload anything. Like I just have so much stuff that I can upload anything at any time, and it just fills that dead space. So it's kind of like they like me, but what I'm really doing is like I know that that doesn't work because I can't say as much as I want, and then a lot of times it backfires. Like whenever you're a bit silly, then it backfires, and that's kind of like life is like that too. Like you got to be careful. So it's like I don't really want to do that anymore because it's like being jokey or silly or goofy or ironic does not really work anymore, I guess. That's kind of my take on that. So then I'm like trying to get like the portion of my book published, and they every time Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, they do, it's always the same thing. Whenever it's like they sense it, whenever I am just, it's like the end of a long day or a long body of work, or like the culmination of a lot of effort, they put a governor on it. They put a restriction on it. It's like they just sense that it's coming and they jump on it every time. It's just like they can't help it. And it's like, no, you don't get it. You are the children of the darkness. Like, now is the time. Believe me, when I deliver it, it's the time. And now you're jumping on it, and like it says in the scripture, man, it's like you're giving like your pearls to swine, right? Like it's just like, why am I doing it? You know, to be trampled on, and like it says it like every time I encounter these things, I'm like, you read that in scripture, and that was one of the verses like 20, 30 years ago that you kind of sidelined. It wasn't as meaty for you to chew on and really get like a lot of substance for you. This was one of the things you sidelined. And these are the things that, like, these years later, that I have come to recognize. Like I've said, like, I've never been the doom and gloom preacher type. I'm the kind of guy where it's like I quietly kept the pearls of wisdom and the light inside in a way. But like what what really happened is, like, in a very short period of time, I believed. What took me 20, like 3 decades, let's say 30 years to realize is that evil is real. Like, that's like that reality basically pervades our existence. So like or that reality pervades it, or that reality is so all pervasive that it's just like more or less the totality of our human experience without God, in a way. So fortunately, we have God, and even like like there is the church, or in the midst of the secular world, we have the spiritual life. Not to mention that God is. God is everything. But like, I don't know if that makes any sense to say that there is. But there's a few other like kind of things that go along with that. I don't want to downplay it because it kind of like seems like in the end it does judge me, and it's like it. uh, just skipping a couple thoughts, but it kind of seems to diminish the sting a little bit after it's all said and done. But I am outraged. Like I am not forgiving, but at the same time, it's kind of like I'm already done. Like it's just like I've been like, it's like you're costing me like it's like a day's wage. It's like a day's wage, and also my life is on the line. So it's like, am I okay with it? And then on the other hand, it's kind of like the fact is that you're wrong, and it's not just wrong about me. Like you're judging me, but you're also judging yourself. So in a way, it's like you are bringing blood upon yourselves. And this is weird too. Like it's not weird. It's weird, but it's not weird because it's exactly what Scripture says. It's like, by the skin of my teeth, I'm a prophet, and like I'm constrained to get that message out. And it would have been better off if I proclaimed the name of God directly, because now it's being forced out of me so much against my will, so reluctantly. But what happens is that it's getting to the point where my blood will be spared, but I have to risk it. And I'm not, see, that's the thing, like I'm not really realizing that I'm not able to do this. God has to force me into that situation where I'm totally relying on you, Lord. Isn't it? You're forcing me into that situation where I'm in great danger, and I have to rely on you, and that's not a problem because you got it covered, and I know that, or I should know that, so to speak. But in doing so, I am bringing judgment upon you, and in a way, now you're culpable because now you know it. And that's the thing. God wants to bring judgment upon you, but He needs you to know that. He needs you to have a chance. This is heavy duty. He needs you to have a chance. And like, so you think this is all about me, but it's not. It's like I was just kind of playing the game the right way. And because you're not right, this is putting a jog in the system, and then it's throwing a wrench in everything. And so it's like, what's all going on? The thing is that you need to be called into accountability for what you're doing, and God is using me to do that. That's basically what's happening. That's why this is so bitter. And then in the bitterness, I'm seeing that I have done all these things before too. At the end of the day today, I'm just like, you know what? It would seem that I am not that different after all, because I have done all these exact same things, as good and righteous and as upright as a person as I think I've been through my whole life. I can see an instance, or I just kind of seem to come up with them from my past history, where it's like I did the exact same thing in a different format, but the exact same thing. Exactly. It's almost as if at the end of the day, it's only a matter of me coming to terms with the fact that I did these exact things, and these are the exact things that I have to be brought to judgment into myself. So I'm like right there alongside of you in a way. Oh dear God, I kind of just honor your presence, or I feel humbled by your presence too in the midst of this. You know, Lord, I lift us all up for prayer. Like where, and it's like, where am I to intercede, maybe, and at the same time, where am I to maybe I can just get away with blaming the distractions of this age that, like, to me, being online almost seems to take the place of prayer. I think that's quite succinct. It seems to take the place of prayer. So in this time, I think that I have to direct it back to God in a more, like, in a very, very real way now. So I'm just going to kind of conclude with that. It's kind of like, it's just like a prayer for one and all. And I think that's better because it is so bitter. It's just like you don't understand, and it's like I do see it, but you know what? Like I see only rage in me, and why am I not? Because what I see is I see blood. I see mass bloodshed down the road because, like, when it is so bitter what you're doing to me, like, you don't realize that within those moments it's like you just put like 30 years, 20, 25, 2, 3 decades on the line there, and you don't realize it. And like when you don't realize how bitter that is, it's like then I'm feeling this rage, and I just see corpses. I just see blood flowing the in the future generations, because your foundations of this system that seems so comprehensive or powerful, it's like you're building an empire on silt. Again, it's like Daniel's vision of this great tower, but his feet are of clay. That, your God that you're praying to, it's just this gold, it's the same old thing. It's this great image of gold and power and all this stuff, and the further down you go, the feet are of clay, or just like, it's just like silt, your empire. So it's kind of like, when that empire falls, how great will the fall be? It's kind of like, it. It's kind of like nasty. It's not gonna be even a personal issue. It's gonna be like the walls fall down, and just mass catastrophe. It's like gonna be a real thing. Like, almost like I just see it so real, like how, like, it's not gonna be like there's even a bad guy responsible. Like, you're even gonna have kind of like, you're all responsible at that time. You're all just gonna have to wash your hands of it and just go, yeah, we did it all to ourselves. But that's what I see. Kind of, it's just like how every consecutive world war has gotten that much worse, and then we kind of almost absolve ourselves or wash our hands of it, because we're like, yeah, this time 50 million. It used to be 50,000 died, and now it's like 50 million died. Well, this is gonna be like 500 million, or like 5 billion people dying. Like that's what I see. That's what I see, because I suddenly realize the whole thing is an illusion. And so like that's the thing, like this YouTube, it gives you such a good product in a way. And then when they sabotage your, what's the word, like what you're publishing something, when they sabotage it like that, to me it is just so cheap. That's the way I described it today. It's just so cheap that it is just like there's like no words, like that's why it's so bitter, because it's so cheap that like they have such a good product in a way. And then like it's just the whole illusion of it just becomes apparent, that it's just like all of a sudden you realize you like, where along the line did you not realize you're basically talking to a computer all day, a dead dumb robot all day long? Where, at what point did you forget that you're dealing with, you're at the end of all these long days, you're discoursing with a bunch of pixels, nothing more, nothing less. And then the illusion just crumbles in that instant that you realize they just got an algorithm out there, and you're fighting with you're like, I just sit there for 8 hours and I haggle with that algorithm, and I'm just like beating my brains out, going like, I'm not gonna let you win, I'm gonna do something, I don't know what, but I am. And 8 hours goes by because I, you know what, it's like, I guess I'm too stubborn, because I could just take it all down. And I do, like, I am the stubborn ass. That is I think I've defined that role for myself in the past. That is me. I am the ass of the age. That is me. And you're gonna have to beat me down or whatever. But I guess like maybe like, where do they get that term? Because I've never had a donkey, you know. Are they stubbornly meek or something? Because or something like, because I maybe just, could it be possible that they're just like a little bit stubbornly meek? Maybe. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's kind of all laughable, but it's not. It's like the illusion breaks down, and it is so bitter because it's like, it's so cheap what you're doing. And I have this other instance or whatever, this thing is coming to mind, where the digital technological, probably more than one, let's say the digital technological world, it's overstepping its bounds, whatever. I don't really want to use that phraseology. It is sabotaging me. It is like, it, like I said, it's just so cheap. It's like you treat people that way. And then I'm like, like, there's no one personally doing it, but I'm like, well, that's exactly it. There's a person that's personally not doing it. There's a person that's personally not being upright. There's a person that's personally not, like, who is the owner of YouTube? Who is the owner of Facebook? Who is the owner of Instagram? A person that is not upright, a person that does not have integrity. But then, like, can you hold, is the company owner culpable, or is the person that's at the very bottom of the tier culpable? Basically the noble labor or whatever. Like, it is a person that is making those decisions and lacking integrity that comes from a spiritual foundation of integrity, truth, wisdom, like, and that's so then I kind of say, man, like, weren't you that young, savvy employee that was just kind of eager to get a little bit of praise that day, or just to avoid problems or whatever too, or just to solve problems, or just to get through your day, or whatever it was, whatever your motivations were, you know, wasn't I that employee too? So, maybe it's kind of like me saying, it's like, hey, wait a second, one thing you forgot, that's God. God's got it all figured out. So, you know what? I see all this AI stuff coming out now, and it's like I see some amazing stuff, but I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled by it really. Like, but it is amazing. And so it's like I'm the kind of guy that I think that I like to see, like you all, but I always get to it later, that I like to see how new things are developing. And then I think, moreover, I'm the guy that can celebrate it more, because by virtue of being so sensitive, I really see the deeper realms of some of the exciting things. And it's that zeal that seems to pass by the common person that I feel. And to me, that is probably the most comforting thing. And I feel like God's Spirit is coming even now, and I see God's Spirit moving in that power. That's kind of more like, that's God. That's God's power. Like, somehow, maybe it's like God has almost been merciful, even though that this system is full of corruption, and there's no integrity and all these godless, faithless principles, and yet God is mercifully, in a way, allowing it to prosper once again. And this is God's power, you know, that you're tapped into. But when I see the beauty of it, I'm like, that's awesome. But I'm not really, like, I'm not deceived by the deception. I'm not deceived by the illusion of it all. And I feel that, like, I'm culpable too as a painter and an artist, because I'm so smitten and intoxicated by that stuff, and have been for all these decades. And it's like I'm finally, I think, coming full circle, where I'm like really starting to see it a little bit more. Like, it's like I can't allow anything anymore anyway. It's weird. I'm being tempered, or I'm being not spurned, but chastised, kind of, I think. In my own ways, so to speak. I think, like, it's so weird, because it's like, that's what you're trying to do to me. You're trying to chastise me for that. But I'm like, no, wait, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to let, like, God is going to chastise me where God sees fit, not you, you know? But that's kind of like, I can identify more when I think about that. Like, I'm smitten by the art scene all the time, but it's become a habit of my life. Like, in fact, it was a habit that I had, and then I laid down those pursuits, and then, like, then I took it up again, in a way, and then I kind of begot, begot, whatever I'm trying to say. I got bespotted again, or whatever. And it's worse, in a way. It is worse, too. Maybe that's the thing that I really have to realize, just how dangerous it is that, like, I've been saved from that already. So where do I go from here? I'm just thinking, it's kind of like how you've built up an empire on silt, and I've built up a sandcastle